This week, locally, well, the eyes of the world are on Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, UFC 330. Don't worry, the Paramount app has your back. You can rewatch it anytime, but you can only be live at Fightworld here in Albuquerque, New Mexico at the Revel Entertainment Center on Saturday night for Fight World 45. Of course, one of the biggest shows in all of the Southwest, professionals, amateurs, a whole ton of fun expected for this card. I believe we got 9 amateur fights, 4 professional fights, a couple title fights listed. And to help me preview it all, coming up here from El Paso this weekend to do his deal, it's of course our friend Jimmy Dukes.
Hey, what's up, man? I love the intro, man. What's up, brother?
How you doing, sir?
Good. I am excited for this one too, man. I feel like I have a little soft spot for Fight World, ever since I've been going up there the past couple of times. So I'm excited for another one.
Fight World been back and been consistent, been regular since they returned just after the pandemic, been kicking out fights. Heck, we saw Ty Miller last weekend in the UFC. So the feeder and builder system that Fight World has implemented, tried and true to get somebody all the way to a Fight Pass organization and to the UFC. So yeah, definitely looking forward to this one where we got several intriguing fights on the card. First off, to ask you, we know that sometimes you travel with a pack. Are you coming up here with any team this weekend specifically?
No, man, shout out to John Judy, man. I always just kind of go up and able to kind of cover with you guys there too, take some picture, watch some videos and talk about fights in the Southwest. I feel like we've always talked about it. A lot of great athletes that can make their way up these promotions and, have a great career professionally. So always excited to see people I haven't seen fight and see people fight that I've seen fight before again on this card.
Talking about the card, let's add this one in here. We got a stacked lineup, and right away, the main event just jumps out. This one is going to be a banger. Richard Jennings, Black Skellington. If I'm saying 5th degree, I might be actually underselling it. Black belt in Taekwondo. Joshua Montoya. I don't know if you ever had the chance to see him fight, but XFC and Bellator vet who actually cornered Jerome Rivera all the way to the UFC. This is the first fight in some years from a friend of the show that we had on here a couple weeks ago to talk about his return. So first off, what do you think about this main event? I know you're familiar with Richard.
Yeah, man, that's like the only thing I can say about Richard is every time he fights. You know what I mean? I've seen him fight 3 times in person. He was kind of giving me a heads up about this fight. I was going to be fighting a veteran, and I'm excited when I get to see guys that are still kind of pacing their way through the pro ranks and get to fight like a legitimate pro veteran fighter like that. So always fireworks when you get some old veteran guy that comes back and, be like, I still got it compared to the guy kind of chopping his way up the ranks, right?
If you still do have time before fight night, if you go on YouTube, the first Desert Dynasty event is available on YouTube, and you can rewatch the Ricky Maynez Richard Jennings fight to get prepared to watch Richard fight this weekend, because low-key, this might be like New Mexico fight of the year. And yeah, it happened in February, but it's still holding strong. If you haven't seen it, that one is available and free to get you excited for what Richard could do this weekend. And as far as Josh goes, been some time, a wealth of knowledge. Bring up his record real quick to show everybody. This is someone that's done boxing, done MMA. It's his first fight since 2018. Gene Pettis, he's been in there with legends like Abel Cullum, a Nick Urso who fought on the Contenders series. So a wealth of knowledge when we talk about Josh Montoya, who emotionally I heard has a lot invested in this return.
Yeah, I love when guys come back, because that's one thing I do like about fighting is that everybody fights for different reasons. Everybody's like on a different path. So when guys take breaks and they come back to fight, I'm always eager to see what they got coming, because they're not just fighting just to fight, right? They want to actually go out there and win.
The long-awaited pro debut of Sergio Gutierrez right here, everybody. Little Serge. He has
Damn.
been an amateur belt collector across the Southwest, proficient boxer, a dynamic submission artist. And if you don't, you'll never believe this, but as a flyweight, a straw weight verging on, he is the meanest, nastiest fighter out of Fit and HB.
Man, he is tough. Him and his brother both, they were on my radar for about 2 years now. I had the pleasure of getting to know them a little bit more off and on, and we always kind of cross paths. But yeah, I know Sergio's been wanting to get that pro debut for a while. So I mean, here it is at Fight World, right?
Fight World, his backyard, an experienced opponent. I think it's really taken a while. He has developed quite the name for himself in this territory. So it's taken a while for somebody to want to take that pro risk against him. Ray Viza, whose one pro win is a dynamic couple second front kick knockout, takes on a tenacious grappler from your neck of the woods in Stephen Ojeda.
Yeah, man, Steven, he's had some bad luck in there. A couple fights, the fight fell through, then got finished early. Then things like that happen in the pro ranks. But that guy has steadily continuing to train and helping his teammates and himself. And I'm excited to see him go up there and fight. Anytime that I get to see anybody from the El Paso area, obviously, guys, I'm biased, but I'm always rooting for El Paso guys. I'm rooting for Southwest guys, but excited to see him go out there and see what he's got.
If he's going to be victorious, it's probably, I think, going to be that wrestling. We haven't seen him in a few years, so maybe there's new elements to the striking game that we hadn't seen before, where Ray Viza, if you look traditionally at his record, he is explosive. And then if the fight gets out of hand, he can also get caught in transition. So I think we're looking at something quite chaotic.
Yeah, I love that, man. I got the Mexicutioner, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Yeah,
sir. The
I got to
Mexican.
top it up with him at the last Fight World, and he's like, "I'm gonna fight on the next one." So it was cool to kind of talk to him and get to know him a little bit. And hey, man, get to see those two guys go at it and let the best man win.
Ozzy Chavez is coming off of
Oh
his
yeah,
second first round submission, gets a quick turnaround from that July 11th victory to fight here at home a month later against Juan Rosales. Rosales experienced in his own right, not as many fights as Ozzy, but 6 under his belt, also coming off of back-to-back finishes. I'm pretty sure that even though he wants to be calm and composed, this is going to also be wild because that's what kind of happens in Ozzy's fights.
yeah, man. We won at Fight World when we saw him. He came down at CFC one. He's on a 2-fight win streak. It's great to see such a positive guy. And on the other hand, how you were saying, another guy that's coming off some wins, and we get to have the pleasure of seeing those guys see who gets to go 3-fight win streak or not.
We get a amateur side of the card. It's listed right now as 2 amateur title fights. I heard that one of these may be in question. I'm not sure which one, but Dominic Yara, Angel Gallegos, 145-pound title. Gallegos looking to win a second amateur title. Yara, a long-time competitor out here in the Southwest. Gonna be the first time we've seen him in a while. Gallegos has been on a roll, and I believe you saw some of that up close and personal.
Yeah, man. SFS, for a lot of people that don't know him, hate him or love him, they got some top ranked guys in the region. And obviously Angel, man, like I've personally got to see pretty much all his fights, man, and he just seems getting better and better. And Yara, I don't know him personally, but nobody's villain. I mean, if you're fighting out of there, you're not a slouch.
John Dotson, not a slouch. The story on Dominic Yara, if you guys didn't know, I'd say he was Angel Gallegos back in, and this is about 2017. He was on a roll 2015, 2016, 2017, 2019 to Colossus. This is going to be his first fight in 7 years, a longtime amateur. He started out at Albuquerque Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu under William Carpenter, and then I saw him Jackson Wink Academy. Now he's with John, so he's floated around a couple different spots, gained knowledge for various reasons. Competing never really came back into the fold or was able to happen, but with an amateur title fight, this is a guy that had a ton of skills, and now he's got the next version of himself coming up a decade later. It's kind of crazy to see this one unfolding where there's parallels between their two paths of I've seen where this guy is going. Can Angel now handle this next bigger, much more veteran experience test?
Yeah, well said. I always like when guys go on tears, then they start running into guys that are like, oh damn, like I'm running through everybody. Now I gotta fight. And I think Angel, when he had his last fight down at Empire, was back and forth for that title fight. So he had a bit of adversity. So I like to see guys, have a hard time and then get the win, because if you're flatlining and winning quick, it's easy to say. But once you get a little bit adversity in the cage or in the ring, and you come out of that, I feel like you feel more confident as those fights get tougher and tougher in your career.
I believe Leo Bitsui, Jordan Dutcher, they're both also representing, as we mentioned, Sandoval Fight Systems. I talked to Orion Gerke. He is representing Borg MMA and Fitness. There's quite a few on the amateur card, guys that are making their debuts. One familiar name is going to be Brad Tarpley. We saw him last time out with a vicious succession of knees in the clinch, get a stoppage win over Damian Rodriguez. The other title fight that we're looking at on the amateur side, representing Borgs, you got Isaiah Garcia. And on the other side, you got Calvin Collins. Garcia, 3-0. He's shown his submission game, his grinding ability. He's been a jiu-jitsu player and a wrestler, while Collins, I saw him with a knockout win about almost 3 years. It's about little under 3 years ago at Jackson Wink. So it's going to be interesting to see what he has to offer. And I believe you saw Calvin at CFC 5.
Correct. Garcia, he fought down here at Empire versus Javi Gomez. Super technical, both of those guys, man, when it came to the ground. Isaiah won, of course. Then I have seen Collins, I see him at all the different gyms here in El Paso, always training. And he's one of those guys that you forget he fights because he hasn't fought in a while. But yes, at CFC, one of the last times he had an outing, looked great. So for them two to go at it on a title, it's amazing to see. And it's just gonna be a treat for us there.
How would you describe Colin's style? What's the best way to describe
Clean
that one?
boxing, strong grappling. You know what I mean? He's a coach for a lot of these amateur guys coming up, but everybody forgets of how good of a fighter he is too. But I'm excited to see him go out there and roll around with Garcia, because I mean that guy is not a slouch. I saw him take a last minute fight at Fightworld. He had cut all that weight just to make the weight. Fought an Empire a couple months later, looked amazing. So I can't even imagine what kind of shape he's looking to for this one.
Another one that has me quite intrigued. We've seen Julian Barros from Nobody's Villains fight for a title. He gets high altitudes. Fernando Munoz. You always wonder to see after the first loss, what does that do to rebuild somebody, rejuvenate them, and how do they come back after that moment?
Yeah, like, and that's the thing that we always see, obviously, in amateur sports, is what I was kind of saying. Guys are used to winning. Now they're like, all right, now I'm coming back from a loss. I'm coming back from a title loss and things like that. So sometimes they take breaks. Sometimes they kind of work on themselves. But always interesting to see how guys bounce back after losses, and especially if like there's no tune-up fights, guys. Like there's a lot of guys that are so good now. Like pretty much everybody you're fighting is good in this area.
And talking about the area, we've seen a lot of Las Cruces versus Albuquerque. If you're really looking at this card and you're looking at it the way that Jimmy is on Instagram, you can see Durango martial arts, high altitude martial arts. We got quite a bit of representation from Colorado coming down to New Mexico for this card.
Yeah, man. And that's one cool thing that, since I live down here, I get to see like Albuquerque, Tucson, and things like that, and a little South Texas. And when I go up to Albuquerque, I see guys from Colorado come down, which is always cool. So I kind of get to see what type of skill set those guys come, because I know Tarpley is coming up there, and he has a lot of teammates coming down to fight as well. So it's always cool when 3 or 4 of those Colorado guys all come down to fight Albuquerque or New Mexico guys or Texas guys.
Any El Paso guys that we missed on the card that you need to recognize?
Man, Ramos out of Warriors Lair, man. He fought at Desert Dynasty for his debut, looked good. He's fighting some guy named Taylor out of high altitude. So man, anytime that Warrior guys fight, I mean, back to what I was saying, I'm biased. I love El Paso guys, but Ramos is good, and he's another one of those guys where like you see the guys that he trains with, and now he's fighting. So now we get to see, what happens when the lights are on him.
Until he loses, I'm not picking against Islam Makhachev in public. New champion or in still Saturday night on the card that you can rewatch on Paramount while you're there with us at Revel Entertainment Center for Fight World 45.
Hell yeah.
Do you got and still or and new?
Man, it's one of those, like the short guy, the tall guy. I mean, the personalities. I mean, I'm one of those guys that don't pick fights. I just want it to be a good fight. I want it to be a good fight, and we'll see what happens, man. I'm one of those guys. I want to see them go at it, and I hope they both bring it.
I can't even follow up then with who do you got in the women's strawweight championship if you're already like, I don't pick fights. I don't know if you're going Jillian Robertson or Mackenzie Dern.
I mean, Mackenzie's looking great now that she's like kind of found her groove, and now she became the champ. She was kind of up and down, and now she's found her groove, and for her to defend that title a little bit more and kind of solidify her spot up there, I would love to see that as well.
I could see that happening. I'm thinking and still. I'm kind of chalk here, people. I'm thinking and still for both of them. I'm thinking it's still going to be a great night of fights, though.
Yes.
Saturday night, join us at Revel. We'll get to see the next breakout stars from the Southwest fight scene. And I mean, we are in a complete craze of fights here locally. The last 2 weekends, there was boxing. We have MMA, a weekend off. APFC is at the end of August. And then going into September, you already saw Desert Dynasty is going to have their second event in September, and Empire Promotions, I believe, September 19th.
Yep, man. What it is to be a fight fan in the Southwest right now is amazing.
Jimmy Dukes, we appreciate you coming on for this Fight World 45 preview. Look forward to seeing you this weekend.
Hey, man, as always, you keep doing your thing up there. I love all the things that you do for the guys up there in the sport, man, and being so welcoming every time I show up there, man. So I look forward to seeing you as always, man. So thank you for your time, man.